Hi, 7th graders. Today's lesson is 7.2.2, Solving Proportions. Make sure you have your homework out and you have a book or ebook open to page 423 or lesson 7.2.2, and you have your title written down at the top of your page. You can pause the video and then play again when you have all of your materials ready. Seven point two point two. How can I find the missing value? Solving proportions. You have examined several proportional situations, such as the price of yogurt versus the number of pounds of yogurt, and non-proportional situations, such as the value of college fund over time. Today you will continue to develop strategies for solving proportional equations. The first problem we'll do together is 106, so you can write that in your notebook. It says, JR reduced figure A at the right to create similar figure B. Write all the ratios that compare the corresponding sides of figure B to figure A. What is the relationship between these ratios and how do you know? So first I'm going to start by writing all of the ratios of the corresponding sides. What they mean by that is I'm going to write the ratios of one side over the other side. So this side here, the top, is similar to this side here. So my ratio would be 3/4. Then this side is similar to this side, so that would be x over 6. Then I have the bottom, 9 over 12. It says, what is the relationship between these ratios and how do you know? So when I look at 3/4, I see that 3/4, I can have 9/12 reduced to 3/4 by dividing by 3. So 9 divided by 3 is 3 and 12 divided by 3 is 4. And then I'm going to assume that x over 6 would also reduce to 3/4 once I figure out what x is. So all of the ratios are equal to 3/4. You can take a second and make sure you have that written in your notebook. B says one of the relationships between the sides can be written as 3/4 is equal to x over 6. Find two different ways to find the value of x in this equation. So I'm going to start by writing 3/4 equals x over 6. So one thing I can do is I can find what the multiplier is between 4 and 6, and then I can multiply that same amount on my numerator. So the way you find the common multiplier is you do 6 divided by 4. So if you do that on your calculator, 6 divided by 4 would be 1.5. So 4 times 1.5 will give me 6. So I know that I have to have the same multiplier on my numerator. So I have 3 times 1.5, and that equals 4.5. So x equals 4.5. Now I need to find another way to do it. And another strategy I would use is, I know that 3/4 means 3 divided by 4, and that equals 0.75. So 4 times 0.75 gives me 3. So then if I do 6, and then I do times 0.75, You can take a second and do that on your own calculator. You would also get 4.5. So that would be two examples of how to find the missing value. Is my answer reasonable? I would say yes, because 4.5 is 3/4 of 6. So all of my fractions are equivalent. 3/4 is the same as 4.5 over 6, and that's also the same as 9 over 12. 9 over 12. Okay, the next one we're going to do together is 107, so you can write that in your notebook. JR's team is trying to find multiple ways to solve 3/4 equals x over 6 from problem 7-106. With your team, analyze each of the strategies below. Some of these strategies might be the same as what you came up with in problem 106. However, others may be new. Work to understand each strategy so that you can use it to solve a new problem. With your team, explain how Letitia's ideas works. Are the two ratios still equal, and why did she choose to multiply by 6? Simplify each side of the equation. So A says JR wants to use a giant 1 to help find the value of x. Explain how we can find a value to use as a numerator and a denominator in a giant 1 and then find the value of x. So we actually did this strategy on our last one. We found the common multiplier of 1.5, and we did that by dividing 6 by 4. So we went the opposite way, and then 6 divided by 4 is 1.5, so then I know I multiply by 1.5 to get 6. So here I can fill in my giant 1, so you can copy this equation down again in your notebook if you'd like. My giant 1 is 1.5, and we found that when you multiply 3 by 1.5, you get 4.5. So that's one strategy. B says, looking at JR's work, Letitia said, I see it differently. We just need to find some number that when divided by 6, you get 3/4. We can undo the division by multiplying each side of the proportion by 6, like this. Then Letitia showed JR the work below. So she wants to get rid of 6 as the denominator. So these here cancel, and that's what she would like to do. With your team, explain how Letitia's idea works. Are the two ratios still equal? Why did she choose to multiply by 6 on each side of the equation? So the answer for this would be yes, they're still equal because she multiplied each side by the same multiplier. And she chose 6 because 6 multiplying by 6 gets rid of 6 as a denominator. So it's undoing the division because we multiplied it. C says Abner asked, but is multiplying both sides by 6 gets rid of the denominator of the x, then can we use the same strategy to get rid of 4 in the other denominator? Like when we do fraction busters, right? Discuss Abner's question and decide if undoing both denominators using a fraction buster is a reasonable strategy. Does this solve the equation? So first they multiplied by 4 to get rid of 4 as the denominator, and if you do it to one side you also have to do it to the other because 4 over 4 is 1. Then they multiplied by 6 on both sides to get rid of 6 as the denominator in the opposite side, and then they saw that we were left with 6 times 3 on the left and x times 4 on the right. So then if I continue his work, I get 18 equals 4x. And then I need to divide both sides by 4 to get rid of 4 as a denominator. And 18 divided by 4 is 4.5, and that equals x, the same as we got before. So that would be a reasonable strategy, and it just helps so that we aren't working with denominators, we are only working with whole numbers. Now I would like you to work on problem 107 through 109, and then you can show your teacher to get the homework 112 through 117. Make sure you ask your teacher or a friend if you need help. Good luck and have fun!